Welcome boys and girls. Today video about vacuum leaks in BMW engine M54 M52 TU. I know you saw many videos, I know you read many threads on the forums, and you saw many pictures. You changed your CCV valve many times, but this video will be slightly different. Of course I will explain all the vacuum leaks in the intake manifold, but on the end I will explain you a new fact which you never saw or never heard before. I will explain you what's the connection between piston ring and mayo under your oil cap. Yes, this is video based on my knowledge after M54 rebuild, changing the piston rings, which are the cause of oil burning in your engine. So if you've been watching my videos before, you will probably find out how to remove intake manifold from your car. Doesn't matter if it's M52 TU or M54. But today more complex video about this area, which is the most common area for vacuum leaks and any other issues with engine management. Because you got throttle body, you got ICV valve, you got DISA valve, you got some other vacuum ports, small ports, bigger ports, and of course CCV valve, also known as oil separator. So to get to the oil separator, you should watch my other videos how to get to the stage where I am now. Of course this manifold is off, out of the vehicle. It's easier to show you what's inside. So throttle body off. I removed all the screws before, so I'm not gonna be showing bit by bit. This is the throttle body. Of course you can clean it. You will gain some throttle response. This is your DISA valve, which you probably gonna remove on the beginning. I did that before on the other video to show you the first place where the vacuum leak might be. So original DISA valve comes with sealant around it. You can buy new O-ring like this one to stop the vacuum leak. That's one place. Another place, it's not common for vacuum leaks, but it's common for maintenance. ICV valve, idle control valve. There's a small flap and of course some residue, some just simple dirt. You can clean that. You will gain another throttle and pedal response. So if you remove those three, you will gain access to the valve itself. To remove the valve, it's pretty easy job. Two torque screws, and the valve is actually loose, but you still cannot remove it, because on the bottom there's a connection to the dipstick. On the side there's a connection going from the valve cover, and here on the side there's a connection to the top of the manifold. So to get that off, you need to hold it here on the side and twist the valve up. But before you start twisting it, make sure the top connection to the top of the manifold, this piece, it's called distribution piece, it's off. Otherwise you won't be able to twist the valve and this this elbow type looking connection. So first this one, you pry it up and pull, and then the best way is to have pliers, very thin ones. I made it. So now, if I turn it back, you should see the valve. So again, if I twist the connection, however, this is so old, I don't know if I'm not gonna break it. So if you break it, just get a new set of hoses and you're fine. Okay, so the valve is free. You know how it looks like, you've probably done it before, but later I will explain you the interesting fact about mayo on your dipstick. It's not what you think. Common failure of this valve, it's membrane inside which tears apart and cause how to say, disorder in the vacuum system. This is the port in this car is used for control of the fuel regulator, fuel pressure regulator. In M54 is capped because that hose goes into the top of the intake boot. So that's your fumes going in. Heavy stuff should be drained out to the dipstick, and light stuff like vapors and oil comes off here. And pressure is regulated with the spring and membrane inside. So now I will open it and see if in fact this membrane is bad or not. There's some crap coming out. To be honest, actually, I don't know. This looks like the old style. I don't know what's this for actually. In new or aftermarket valves, this second membrane doesn't exist, or in M54. But as you can see, well, I probably damaged it now with the screwdriver, but is it bad? Doesn't look so bad. So that's how the system works again. This pipe is connected to the valve cover, where all the condensation with oil and water, it's going down. It's drained here. This thing is connected to the side of the dipstick, which goes to the oil sump. And light stuff comes out here, and this is the membrane which regulates by the spring amount of vacuum. So when the car is idling, the engine is idling, you got high vacuum in your manifold, so this valve should be almost closed. When you revving up, the throttle body opens and this membrane allows more vapors to be sucked. Because if you take this membrane out, there will be very high vacuum. So this vacuum can actually cause oil suction from the oil pan, which you don't want. So guys, vacuum leaks can occur everywhere. This hose might be old, cracked, so you got one place, another place, as you can hear, very crunchy. So another place, this pipe breaks off easily after some years, mileage, etc. Also you got O-rings around everywhere. If you got torn membrane, this one is fine, but if it's torn, like a crack or something split, this will cause a problem to the vacuum system. Incorrect vacuum will be in your engine. More in the intake manifold. We can start with the throttle body. There's an O-ring in here. It's very rare, but it happens when this O-ring gets old, it gets small and might let out some air instead of here, just between the body and the intake manifold itself. You might have, it's not very common, vacuum leak in here. It's not very common, so I don't think you will get that. That's the front or the face of the intake manifold. Of course, the gasket on the intake manifold might be leaking. It's not very common, but you might be lucky. Here another two connections, vacuum ports. One is for brake booster, one is for a fuel evaporating system, I think. Of course, on top you got this distribution piece. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 O-rings inside. Another O-ring is here, which is air temperature sensor. I can't remove it, it's just too old. Another vacuum leak. It's this secondary hose for this distribution piece. And here on the back, 1, 2, 3, very common one is this one. You might have more. Usually this cape is just gone and allowing some air goes into your system. And I think the last ones are actually the injector holes. Injector have O-rings, so again, if the O-ring is old, you will get vacuum leak from here as well. So now it's time for mysterious fact about CCV, mayo under your oil cap and piston rings. Yes guys, many people, well most of the people blame this valve, this system for oil consumption in M54, which is not true. Why? Well, I will start with this. Many people who live in cold climate blaming this valve for condensation inside, which freezing up, causing blockage, and oil is sucked up to the intake manifold. That's true, that's not good if oil is sucked rather than drained back. But why is it happening? You see guys, I replaced my piston rings, and since that time I never saw mayo under my oil cap or dipstick or anywhere. Why? Because there's only one place where water vapors or air, condensed air with water vapors, humid air, is getting into your engine, into your crankcase. It's past the ring gaps. So if you have oil burning issue, that's 1,000,000% your ring gaps are bigger than they should be, allowing more blow by going into your crankcase. That mixes with oil, so if you're driving short distances, you're getting mayo inside. And if you live in cold climate, that mayo, which is water and oil, freezes up, causing blockage and potential damage. So guys, since I replaced my rings, I'm driving with stock setup, no adjustment, nothing. The oil level is fine, no issue with that. So guys, ring gaps piston rings, oil piston rings are the key to this whole story about M54 engine. Thank you.